Cruise control, ride-by-wire, ride modes, a connected screen with turn-by-turn navigation and all of that, sharp styling, all LED lighting. You must think I'm talking about the new Hero X Pulse 400, no? Not really. What I'm talking about is this, the all-new Hero Glamour X. Now this is the latest 125cc motorcycle from Hero. It's the newest addition to the Glamour lineup, and in this video I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know about this motorcycle, what it gets and what it misses. Welcome to the first ride review of the Hero Glamour X. Before we proceed, don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed the content, share it with like-minded enthusiasts and smash that bell icon to stay notified for all of our video drops. Talking about the design of the new Glamour X, it's largely similar to the other Glamours that we've seen before, especially the Xtec. The overall silhouette remains largely unchanged. What you do have is slightly sharper styling cues that make it look more modern, a little more aggressive and a little more premium. You have this headlight at the front with the iconic H-shaped DRL pattern with this cross in the middle. You have this windscreen. You move behind, you have a nice wide handlebar, and at the center of that, just above it, is a new LCD color screen. This is very similar to the one that you see on the Charisma XMR, but this is a colored unit, so it has different color elements to signify different means of information. Now you come behind, you have a fuel tank which has these nice sharp cowls with the Glamour X badging and this nice long seat. It's been made a little longer and a little wider both for the rider and the pillion. Seat height still stands at 790 mm, making it very accessible, but despite that you still have a healthy 170 mm of ground clearance, and that is with that new belly pan. Now moving behind, you also have a wider grab rail, so it's easier for the pillion to hold on to the grab rail, and just behind you have another H-shaped design for the tail light with LED blinkers right below it. Now the wheel setup is the same, 18-inch at the front, 18-inch at the rear, but the alloys, they look nice, they look stylish, very premium. It gives the bike a larger than it actually is sort of feel, and that's exactly what Hero was setting out to accomplish with the Glamour X. Now this will be available in 5 different color schemes, which will be on your screen right now. Which one do you prefer? Let us know in the comment section down below, and also tell us what you think of the design of this motorcycle. Powering the Glamour X is essentially the same engine that does duties on the Extreme 125R, and you already know what we think of that engine. It was a peppy little motor, it was very engaging despite being a 125cc motorcycle. Refinement levels were good for the most part, but there were a few vibes that would kick in when you start chasing the red line and actually having fun with the motorcycle. Now this, with the Glamour X, Hero is not really chasing an outright sporty performance package, and to that end what they have done is add a new balancer shaft which is optimized towards giving better NVH levels, and to that end Hero has actually succeeded, because in this bike, even when you're chasing the red line, there are barely any revs to speak about, and in all speeds that you're actually going to be living with this motorcycle, there are really no vibrations to complain about. And other major change that they have done with this engine is they've changed the throttle body from a mechanical unit to a electronic unit, and what that means is you have a ride-by-wire throttle, and that has also enabled 3 ride modes. So you have Eco for when you want to save those last precious drops of fuel, then you have Road, which is an in-between of sorts, and then you have Power. Now all 3 modes, they do have a very distinct feel and characteristic to them. There is a discernible change in performance between them, and it's not just a cap of the top speed, it's the way the throttle is calibrated. From Eco to Power, there is a significant difference in the way the throttle responses, with it being a lot sharper in Power mode. Now in terms of power and torque figures, it's the same 11.4 bhp and 10.5 Newton meters of torque, which I feel is ample for a motorcycle like this, because when we were really trying, I could achieve 105 kmph on the Speedo, which is really more than enough for a 125cc motorcycle. The sweet spot for cruising on this motorcycle is between 70 and 80. That's when everything feels really calm, really natural. The chassis is very compliant at that point of time. There's not much to complain about, and all in all, it's a very refined, a very polished riding experience, and the ride-by-wire and all the features and technology that it enables is really good. And one very interesting thing I'd like to talk about is, despite this being ride-by-wire, Hero has come up with a technology that essentially allows them to have a Kickstarter despite having an electronic throttle body. So essentially, if your battery drains out completely, or for whatever reason you just want to feel a bit of nostalgia, you can use the Kickstarter to start the motorcycle and get going. So that's really cool. It feels conventional, it doesn't feel like a gimmick, so that's quite nice to have. So all in all, in terms of the engine and the performance side of things, this is a very well sorted package, and it makes very good use of an already existing engine and gives it a sort of new dimension with this Glamour X. Now let's talk about the ride and handling of the new Glamour X, which is not really new in that regard because this still uses the same diamond frame with the 30mm right side up telescopic fork at the front and the twin shocks, which is 5-step adjustable for preload at the rear. You still have 18-inch wheels with JK tires and alloys. Now this is the top variant, so you do get a disc brake. The base variant, that will get a drum brake, and of course this drum brake continues at the rear. Now in terms of the way this rides, this has that typical Hero ride quality to it. It's very plush, it goes over bad roads and undulations very well. It's very supple in the way it reacts to everything, and it's only the really sharp speed breakers or potholes that really translate and unsettle the motorcycle or you as the rider. Now in terms of the handling, that's very surprising because this is actually a lot of fun to ride in the corners as well. Now you're not going to have as much fun as you would on the Xtreme 125, but this definitely still does hold its own. Now in terms of braking, like I said, this is the top variant with the disc brake at the front. Now sadly this does not get ABS even in the single channel form, which I think is a big glaring miss considering from next year onwards ABS is going to be a mandate on all motorcycles. But braking on this motorcycle, it's still a very competent package. You have more than enough performance for the kind of performance this motorcycle has. Stopping power is great, and you have all the bite and feedback that you need from the front brake. The rear also, it does do the job when it is required. Now apart from that, in terms of the ergonomics of this motorcycle, like I said, you have a 790mm seat height, which means it's very easy to flat foot no matter what your size is. You really won't have a hard time getting used to this motorcycle, and that's also because of the narrow inseam. Your legs are not getting splayed out, so even shorter riders shouldn't have too much trouble getting familiar and comfortable with this motorcycle. Your upper body is nice and upright. Your feet reach to a very comfortable mid-mounted foot peg setup. You have a heel shifter as well, and your hands, they reach out to a fairly wide handlebar. So all in all, this is a fairly comfortable riding stance. Now I'm a very large guy, as you can very clearly see. I'm dwarfing this motorcycle, but despite that, there is more than enough room for a pillion to sit, and a pillion my size could effectively sit behind me, and that is saying something. Now in terms of riding, now this could be a problem for just my weight because I am on the heavier side. I did feel like after a little time in the saddle that the seat was a little too soft, and I started to sink into it, and that did start to create a bit of soreness in my backside. But again, for city commuting and for all of that, this should be more than comfortable enough. Now again, this is at the core of it a commuter motorcycle. How does it handle cities, tight spaces? Well, I feel it does it very well. Take for example the turning radius. Look how far the handlebar turns. So tight U-turns, getting through tight spots in traffic is a breeze, and that's also aided by the fact that this weighs only 127 kilos with a full tank of gas. That's for the front disc brake variant. If you opt for the drum brake variant, that's 1.5 kilos lighter at 125.5 kilograms. So all in all, as a ride and handling package, this is everything that you would expect from a Hero and then some. Now, features is the name of the game when it comes to the Glamour X, because this is what this motorcycle has in spade. Many features that its competition does not even remotely get. Now, at the center of it, you have a nice and bright color LCD screen that shows you everything that you need to see at a glance. Everything is very well laid out. What needs to be large is large. What is not really relevant to your riding is small and tucked away on the side. Now, the switch cube is very similar to that of the X Pulse 210. So as you can see, you have these buttons over here to navigate the different options that you have on the screen. Now the screen, it is also has adaptive brightness, so basically it will respond to the ambient lighting conditions and dim itself or brighten itself based on your riding condition. Now you have these two buttons to navigate your different things, like I said, and you have a mode button below it to navigate the 3 modes that the ride-by-wire enables. Now if you come to the right side, that's where the star of this show is, because you have cruise control. Now, does a 125cc motorcycle really need cruise control? Well, according to Hero, they say that their customers are really excited for having that as a feature on the motorcycle, and credit where it's due, it works really well. Now this is the ride-by-wire system after all, so there's not much effort in that sense required to enable a cruise control system, and what Hero have done is a very simple, very straightforward system, which is one button and that goes up and down. So you press this button once to enable cruise control, you go to your desired speed, you press down, it will set that speed, and then if you want to increase or reduce the speed, you just toggle the switch up or down. It works very well. It does have an error value of 3 to 5 kmph, so it does vary a little, but it's a very reliable system. You press the brake, you change the gear, you do any sort of input and the cruise control will cancel itself, so it's very safe in that regard as well. Now coming to whether or not this really needs it, that's debatable, but I mean, it's a nice feature to have. It doesn't feel like a gimmick, it is actually nice to use, but if cost was something we're talking about, and if I could choose between having a single channel or a dual channel ABS system with a rear disc brake or cruise control, I would choose the ABS system 10 times out of 10. But as a feature to have, it's a nice thing that Hero have done for this motorcycle. What do you think about it? Let us know in the comment section down below. So with all the features that I told you that this motorcycle has, how much do you think this motorcycle costs? A little over $1 lakh? Well, if you thought so, that's what I thought as well, and you'd be wrong, as was I, because this starts at rupees 88,999, and this top-end variant that we're riding, that costs rupees 99,999, and all the features that I said are mentioned in that price point. At that price point, I feel like this is an extremely good value for money package, or a glamorously good value for money package, if that's how you want to put it, because what this does is exactly what you expect a Glamour to do, and then some. It has all the features to attract a new set of buyers as well, but at the same time it is understated enough and premium enough that the existing Glamour customer could choose to upgrade to this motorcycle from whatever motorcycle they're riding. Now apart from that, I feel like they should have added ABS. That is something that I feel is a glaring omission on Hero's part, but it is what it is. This is how the motorcycle comes. I feel as it is, it's a good package, barring that one glaring miss. What do you think about the Glamour X? Let's have a conversation down below, and as always, thank you for watching.